shields, armor, lasers, or missiles? How do they work? And more importantly, how can I leverage them to my advantage? My name is Aspec, and today I've partnered with Paradox Interactive to give an introductory guide to the ship designer window within Stellaris. How does it function? How can you use its tools? And answer the question, what is a combat computer? So today we're going to learn by doing. We're going to design a ship. Specifically, a corvette. We're going to discuss ship segments, weapons, defenses, core, as well as support modules. But we're not going to go into full detail here because this video will be an hour long if we do so. But at least you will understand the fundamentals of how the ship designer works. First, we're going to need to navigate to the ship designer to begin with. It has changed positions within the UI a few times, however, currently it is nestled under the fleet management key. You can also go there by hitting F9, and then we just simply go to the ship designer tab. Now, before we do anything, we probably want to disable the auto generate designs button if you have that already tick box, because if we have that enabled, then we won't be able to build any of our own designs. The game will automatically design ships for you. First off, we're going to need to create a ship. So let's go and create one and select Corvette whilst we are at it. As you can see, there is nothing on the screen, and this is because we haven't selected a ship section yet. Corvettes come in two flavors, Interceptor and Picket. Now, every single section has its own advantages. Interceptors are all about firepower. It has 3 high slots in the S class, which means it can fit 3 small weapons. Whereas the Picket is all about defending other ships. It has 2 S class weapons, but it also has a point defense slot, which means it can take down missiles and strike craft. All ship types, whether it be Corvettes or all the way up to Titans, have ship segments, each with their own abilities and specialties. Make sure you keep an eye on their abilities to see if they fit your specific need. Back to the Corvette that we were building. We are going to build a Picket, an important anti-missile platform. So let's select the Picket module and we will be presented with its layout. Now, first off, we're going to need to add some weapons to it. Stellaris has a rather wide range of weapon types available, from the rather simple slug throwers to the more exotic energy projectors. However, for the sake of brevity, we're going to boil them down to the 3 categories: kinetics, lasers, and missiles. Kinetics are great against shields, lasers melt armor, and missiles, well, they can completely bypass shields, however, can be intercepted by point defense. These weapons fit in the S, M, and L slots. Every single one of them is referring to a size. The bigger the size, the more damage it does. Then there's the P slots for point defense, and finally G, which are for guided torpedoes. There is a little mismatch of other slots as well, but you probably won't encounter them very often. Because we are designing a Picket corvette that'll stick to other ships for defense, we will have to add a set of short-range weapons like autocannons. These are a highly powered kinetic system with a very short range. You can find more about them in-game by hovering over their tooltip to get more details. This is of course possible with any of the weapons. Then we will add a point defense cannon, which is great for shooting down missiles. So that's the weapon slots taken care of. So now it's time to take a look at utility. All the items on the right side of the designer should always be at the highest possible level, especially the power output. Of this list, there is really only one real thing that really matters when it comes to designing, which is of course the combat computer. Now, combat computers change the behavior of a ship in, well, as the name implies, combat. There are tons of different variants, from swarm to carrier to artillery and many more. However, we're building a corvette, which means that we have access to 2 varieties: swarms, which rushes the enemy and engages them at short range, and picket, which sticks around the rest of the fleet and engages missiles as much as possible. So let's select Picket. It'll give us faster shooting weapons as well as better tracking, which means that we can shoot more missiles down more optimally. That last one in particular is rather important, as weapons can miss. Now it's time to talk about the low slots. Ox and defenses. Defense-wise, you really only have two options: armor and shields. In general, you should always try to squeeze as many shields onto a ship as possible, as shields recharge, whereas armor doesn't, unless of course you dock your fleet at a station. Yes, missiles can completely bypass them, but this is why we're building this bigot corvette. Keep an eye at how much power we have on our craft, because once we keep on adding shields, well, it will go into the red. When that happens, we will remove one and fill the remaining slots with armor. Armor takes 0 power, which is a nice little filler. Finally, there is the aux slots. Similar to weapons, there is a magical wonderland full of different types of aux modules that you can use to improve your ships. Some will make your ships faster, others will make your shields bigger, some will give your ships more power. In this particular case, because we are a ship focusing on intercepting, we want to go with aux fire control, which gives us a better chance to hit, which is something that is always useful when trying to intercept missiles. With all of this combined, we have essentially built a ship. However, I want to quickly go over the ship's stats and how it impacts the ship's performance. Power is how much your reactor outputs. Hull points is the basic health for your ship without armor or shields. Armor and shields speak for themselves. Evasion is a bit of a curious one. It defines how easily a ship can dodge incoming weapons fire. The higher it is, the less the ship will get hit. Corvettes in particular are very good for this, plus you can boost this by adding afterburners. Speed is the movement within systems. The higher the speed, the faster the ship moves. Just do be aware that fleets will move at the speed of the slowest ship in said fleet, so don't put afterburners on ships that hang around with slow battleships. Damage is the average output per day, and finally, all the way at the top is the cost of the ship, how much it will cost per month, and how fast you can build one. From here onwards, all you have to do is save the design, give it a cool name, and go to the shipyard and build it. Or you can add the design to a fleet and simply reinforce. In the end, designing a ship can be quite a handful, and if you're not quite sure what to do, yet you know what kind of ship type you will need, you can also simply select a design from the ship role selector. This automatically designs a ship for you with whatever role you've selected for it. I hope that this overview helped you wrapping your head around the ship designer. Until next time, my name is Aspec, and this has been the Ship Designer in Stellaris.